County government meeting to order. First up, I'd like to welcome First Ward, Alex Mandaro. There you go.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello.
Have fun. We'll have fun here, that's for sure. First up, though, we have the county attorney, so this could be, we'll see how this plays.
Good afternoon, everybody. I know you're used to seeing Chris Watts, but he has retired from county service. So I brought with me Kimberly Trinkwall. She's been in my office about 3.5 years, and prior to that was a full-time public defender. So she's got a long time in county service. So depending on resolutions tonight, she's going to be taking over Chris Watts' primary duties with the real estate and foreclosures, as well as some of the other duties she had in my office.
Good job.
So the first thing I have on the agenda.
Hold on 1 second. Please.
So we're gonna have two sets of here, count on it? Yeah. Oh, okay, all right. I'll hold you.
You beat her
You
to
say,
that.
yeah.
I haven't been live for that.
Right.
Yeah, he had enough time to actually put in for his pension and pay for his health insurance. So,
Okay.
and his real estate practice privately is basically
Doing good. Okay.
I just have to, we had some changes, last minute changes, and I want to make sure I've got the right agendas up here. People were late and.
Okay.
Now those attorneys get, they
Thank you for being so gracious and accepting their changes.
Well, yeah, it was, thank you.
We had one of those yesterday too.
We did. Share your screen. Why can't we share my screen? Let's see. Let's try again. Okay, Rob, sorry.
Okay.
Everything.
So the first agenda item we have is we had a request from a property owner, Ms. Schufelt, was here tonight by Gov't, her attorney, for a portion or piece of the old rail bed in Mellonville, the old Boston and Albany rail bed line. Our typical practice with this is that we ask the owner making the request to provide a survey, which they did. It's 0.037 acres, so not a large piece of land. It abuts and completes her residential property, so it would be attached to that. They provided an appraisal from Conquer Associates that listed a value of that at $2,800, which they would pay to the county. They would cover all costs, which they already have with the survey. There is a planning board process, law in Cloudwork, which is a one-stop, one-meeting process. So they would need to go there and do that, and then Gov't would generate the documents of transfer. And so what we're seeking is a resolution to authorize that transfer at a cost of $2,800 benefit proceeds to the county, with them covering the costs.
So before we get into that, just give you a little detail on it. We have basically two trail rails that go up towards Chatham. One comes up through from Hillsdale. That's the one they're working on now. They're hoping to get into Hillsdale. They're gonna put a bridge across on 22, I heard, then they're gonna continue up to Philmont and from there to Chatham. This one, basically, we've sold parcels off already down by the gun club, you know, and it does go right through the hamlets. There's no reason to have a trail rail where we're looking at. I don't see any reason. And what they already said, they'd have to further up the line. The bridge is gone over the creek, so they'd have to put a whole bridge up. So they were taking, even if they reopen this, they'd have to take the side road going into Philmont and tie into the other trail line. So it just doesn't make any sense that we would do anything with the trail rail, but basically I feel to give these people parcels away. It's just too many people.
So give you just to simplify this, it's an unused rail trail.
Yeah.
It's an abandoned. trail.
Yes,
We have sold other pieces to other private butters.
wanna be
You know.
yeah, we've always sold out quite a few pieces of it, and the county has done that already, so.
I like that. It goes back on the tax roll too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it hasn't been.
So that's my opinion, just telling you how it is. I know I've been there a long time, and if she lives there, it'd be great for her backyard. I don't blame it, you know. We already got people building buildings on it and everything, and they don't even know it. So I mean, we've had that. So we'll figure that out down the road.
It's up right now.
I'll make
Yeah.
a motion.
I'm second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carry. Here you go.
Okay, the second thing I have on the agenda, I'll let Kelly
I have to go backwards because I started with your resolution.
So this has to deal with the filling positions in my office, and I have gone through the point one committee. Kimberly Prince Walsh is currently a part-time attorney, and due to taking on additional responsibilities, basically what Watts did, we'd like to upgrade her to the full-time position. I still have her position and Watts' position were part-time, so I'd like to keep that other part-time position available and open. And I'll give you a little justification for that. Doing an historical analysis in my office, I've been the county attorney since 2010. Typically have 4.5 full-time equivalent positions in the office. Even with upgrading her position to full-time and having the opportunity to fill the vacant part-time, that would still only take me to 3.5 positions. I used to have 3 support staff, a confidential secretary, recovery clerk, and a clerk typist. I'm currently operating with just a confidential secretary, which works for now. I might be back at some point in time to fill a clerical position in there. Because obviously when the confidential secretary wants to go on vacation, I have attorneys answering phone calls and dealing with mail and things like that. So we're operating efficiently. We have since COVID, honestly, but I would like to have this resolution passed so that we can upgrade things a little bit, get the foreclosures moving a little quicker. We have a lot of load in the department these days with contracts from other departments. There's new laws that have come in.
I'll move it.
There you go.
I'll second it.
I'll stop.
All in favor?
I was enjoying listening.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rob.
I've been here years.
And I do remember when you took over HR for a while too, many years ago too, so. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to meet
I
everyone.
saw you.
I feel sorry for you though, working with him.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's the roughest
We've known a long time, so. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, everybody.
Well,
Thank you.
Next up, we have central services, but I got nobody.
Right. Jim unfortunately had to go take care of his dad.
Okay.
Actually, his tourism should be next. He skipped tourism.
I'm here.
No, yeah, I'm sorry, true, Adam. Sorry, Adam.
That's okay.
I'm quite
I'll be
bad.
quick.
I don't know how I missed it, so.
So before us tonight, we have authorization to go into contract for distribution of our new guide. This contract runs May through October. It's Jersey, Pennsylvania, Eastern Pennsylvania, and AAA offices in those areas. It's not to exceed $3,222.
So it's budgeted.
It is budgeted. It's a company we use. It's one of the 3 we use every year.
I move it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. All right, now we'll go to the nobody.
Okay, so, Central Services is looking to purchase a bus. It will take the place of a 2019 bus, which is outlived its useful life. And, 192,000 of it is federally funded and the rest is budgeted. It's a total cost of not to exceed 250, but it should be about 230,000 according to Jim Bragg.
I just wanted to double check. You remember quite a while ago that we talked about this at transportation. Is this the same bus we
Yes.
talked about at transportation
It is.
committee and made a suggestion then that we do this? Okay.
Now, this is not an electric bus, right?
No.
No, and I just would like to add that this may take 2 years to get us. But, we need to start the process.
Yeah.
I'll move it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
So if we,
Highway's still struggling with big trucks too. We can't get them.
can we start the search for this now? Are we locked into a price or,
They have, it's
We'll try to
been
lock
bid.
down there. It's on state contract.
yeah, okay. So the only increase we see is if the state contract increases. So we still have a not to exceed figure here.
Yep.
Okay, so which bus is this? Is this for Hudson?
I'm not sure if it's the Hudson bus or the Albany bus, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all been one. It's the bigger bus.
We've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, right. It's the same one we talked about a while ago.
I did.
Yeah.
And they're not, you know what? you can't
It takes a
dance.
while to
I
get all
think
that. and
We suggested it at transportation, but then they had to work with the state contract.
Whatever DOT approves and it's got a.
Yeah, it takes
Stuff,
forever.
you know?
Get in the budget.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That dump truck, we know. It's forever. Anyway, next up is veterans. Rachel.
How is everybody?
Good.
Are you doing your resolution first or your report first?
Whichever you want me to do.
It's totally up to you.
No, I can do the resolution.
All right.
All right, I have, resolutions request to hire a per diem transportation driver.
I'll move it.
Second?
All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Bus is in good shape. Are good with the bus?
We
Well,
are,
there are downsides to the van, right?
yes,
Oh, okay.
we are waiting on the transit van. It is on order.
And their bus is gonna go to our county transportation system.
All right, our first thing is coffee hour and luncheons. We do have a monthly coffee hour just for veterans. We normally have 30 to 35 each time. We have a luncheon once a month. It always fills up, but it's for veterans and spouses or a friend, et cetera. We had the Columbia County, auxiliary do that. We've had different places do the lunch and bring it in. We have more veterans coming into the office or calling for appointments. Some are new, some have not been in there since Gary's been there. So we're really busy, and my deputy is accredited, so he is also busy as well. I have gotten about 10 to 12 veterans, 100% total and permanent rated. Some Gary started and some have been with myself doing that after Gary's retired from the county. We had the New York State Legion commanders visit. He was impressed with our operation and toured the office, the Dwyer room, and the pantry. He also shared information for helping veterans with grants for housing and home repairs. With new information that we weren't aware of.
Can you share that
Yeah, I
with
was
me
gonna
for
say, we
the
can
housing
share that
task
housing
force?
task force,
Yep,
yeah.
I have that back at the office. I will.
To both Ron and me.
Okay.
So you said is it by housing, do you mean rentals or?
I'd have
purchase?
to, I'd have
Okay,
to
we'll
look
look
into it.
at it.
Yep.
then, okay. And also repairs, right?
Yep.
Housing and repairs, okay. And do you know if this is a one-time funding or
There's-
ongoing funding?
It's, I'm not positive. I haven't fully looked into it. I'll get with Patsy tomorrow and then, cause the information was shared with her as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We've had more female veterans come into the pantry. And we now have a female veteran specific section in the pantry, like personal hygiene items, lotions, all the girl stuff that, wouldn't normally be set aside in the pantry. We had 3 or 4 different families we did holiday gifts for. We didn't do it. We put out the information, but including that help was from the RBT CBAs, which is an accounting firm, Judge O'Hare, Niagara Methodist Church, and then friends, including the Richards family, Patsy's daughter's family, Warrington family, Will Rock, and the Handy family, plus more. So they all got together and bought gifts for veterans and their children that reached out to our office for help.
And I'd like it, if you do this outreach, do you do this outreach in like September, October for December? Because I have 2 groups in Canaan that buy gifts for families, so we'd like to get those
Okay.
groups added to your list.
All right, yeah, we do that. We actually had turned away some people that wanted to help because we didn't have any other families to help.
That's a good problem to have.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And the one family, he's a veteran with 3 kids, 3 or 4 kids, and they did gifts for the veteran himself, which he was like beyond appreciative. Filled up somebody's truck that went and dropped it off to him. There's another veteran that came and picked up his stuff. He cried.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
yeah.
good. Absolutely.
Thank you.
The pantry volunteers and widows hand wrote 714 Christmas cards, which went to 150 veterans in the VA, along with veterans in nursing homes, and then hundreds for veterans overseas that are deployed. And then I already covered number 8 when I talked about being busier in the office, so.
Okay,
that
any
is my
questions?
report.
No, but the holiday cards, our
Mhm.
senior lunch program did 150 cards for the VA. They love these projects. So if you have lunches in your towns, September, October, let Rachel know because I think the seniors get more out of as much out of it as the
Yeah.
veterans.
Right,
Yeah, let us know.
all right,
I love my friends. So you know, absolutely. I'd love to do it.
awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then also donate the cards.
Okay, next up is human resources. Yep.
My
Mike.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone.
Okay, so this one's really exciting. This is our youth apprenticeship program that we partnered with Questar 3 for. This has been, it started out a little slow, but it's been getting better and better. And last year, it was just really exciting because one of the young men came back, he happened to be a young man, who came into the program to go to the highway department. And he liked it so much that when they had a person who wasn't able to really find a fit, the young gentleman goes back to this other young gentleman, goes, "Oh my God, just come with me to the county. Like, they're fantastic. You should come work at the county." So this other young man came with this other young man, and Tony was like, "Absolutely, we'll train him. That's fine. We've got this." They took this other young man that wasn't arranged to go, and it just worked out really well. They were very appreciative. It worked out really well for us. So, so these are great. These are potential future highway workers and DPW workers for the county. So this is, I was excited about this. So,
Need a motion? I'll move a second. In favor? Opposed?
awesome. All right. Thank you all
Thank you.
very much.
Have a good day.
Wonderful evening.
Patrice?
Oh.
Two
No,
other-
come on up, Patrice. I had it backwards on that. Because Mark asked to go last, and I said, nobody ever asks to go last. Let me skip where we need to get here.
Okay. Well, happy New Year, everybody.
New Year.
Here.
Okay, the first resolution I have is to appoint members to the County Climate Smart Community Task Force. It's the 2-year term, and there are representatives from various municipalities in the county and 3 non-voting members, 2 supervisors, Supervisor Adams, Supervisor Collins, and then Don Meltz, who is the Climate Smart Coordinator for the county.
I'll move it.
Second. In favor?
Or can I move it? It's like, if
You
I,
can move it.
Okay.
Yeah, different group.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
Okay, the next is authorization to appoint a member to the Environmental Management Council. It's for the town of
Hold
Livingston.
on, Patrice.
Oh, okay.
It was-
This was a.
This is where we throw in.
You had it, I think.
Yeah.
That one was,
Did I go too fast?
yeah, you did. It was before. That one was there.
Okay,
One more. There you go.
there we go.
Okay. So it's for the town, representative for the town of Livingston for a 2-year term, and it's Rebecca Harkelrod.
I'll move it.
Second. Favor? It's terrible.
And then this next one is a late coming addition. I neglected to include it, so it is an authorization to appoint a member to the county planning board. It's for region number 6, Larry Salclaw, who will represent the towns of Claremont, Germantown, and Livingston. Those
Move it.
towns.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The next 2 resolutions deal with the 2025 303B Ag District additions. The first resolution is for authorizing the addition. The second resolution deals with the seeker. So they're together, but they have to be treated separately. And the seeker portion you'll be doing at the full board meeting, where Rob will take you through it.
Yes, Ron reminded me of that, so I'll make sure we get that in.
Okay.
So
So
you want to do the first one first?
Sure. So the first is the authorization to approve. This year we received 4 applications. The Ag and Farmland Protection Board is recommending that 3 be included. It would be a total of 95.87 acres. The 3 parcels are in the town of New Lebanon, Chatham, and Canaan. But all of these 3 are currently operating as ag uses and established ag uses. And the rationale for not including the 4th, they wanted to have that deferred until next year because it's a vacant parcel. It's for residential use. It'd be a small family farm. And just based on the current use and the condition of the site, they suggested that it be deferred to see if there's any progress next year, and then consider it next year.
and the town board felt the same way.
Great,
So the town board's in alignment with your recommendation.
wonderful, thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Need a motion?
I will
So
make this motion. Yeah.
I'll say
Favor?
Aye.
age before music.
Say.
Whoa.
No comment. Give it.
I didn't say
I
didn't say nothing.
Actually, I'm older than he is, so. When and I
Hi,
was-
Brenda.
The last resolution is authorizing the Board of Supervisors to act as a lead agency and to make a determination that these 303 additions will not have a significant environmental impact and will not require an environmental impact statement, issue a negative declaration.
I will move that, but we have to do this at full board as a collective body, so,
Second.
we just move it to the full board.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
And then the last item that I have is, it doesn't require a resolution. It just requires a vote, and review by this committee. It's a media report from the EMC, and it was written by EMC member Tara Humphrey. And the title is Columbia Repair Cafe wins a $3,450 grant to match the mobile repair kits program. So it's once it's approved by this committee, then it would be published in the Register Star. They haven't done one of these in a few years. They were probably 4 years ago was the last one that they published, and they had a couple of them.
Yeah.
So one of them was on road salt, I believe. So this would be published in the next coming months.
These cafes are so, popular. I mean, people are always saying to me, when is the next one?
We're doing a couple of insiders have been really popular, so.
So I think I would love to support this.
That's a motion to.
That's a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.
Last but not least.
I'd asked to be last because I was in a training class. I wasn't quite sure what time I was going to wrap up, so.
You did pretty good.
Yeah.
So have some time to do a couple things before I finish. All right, good afternoon, everybody. I have a few resolutions and then some updates for you. The first resolution is an authorization for my office to enter into an agreement with Gov't Associates for their property records online software and support for said software. So we've been talking about this for quite some time, that the ImageMate software has been acquired by another company and was going away. That said company, Schneider Geospatial, which is operating Beacon, they've been consulting with us about converting that software, converting our current software to the Beacon platform. After consulting with our neighboring counties as well as my internal staff, and you'll see there's more to this in the next resolution. It's kind of a two-piece resolution. We decided that it was in the best interest of our department to seek to switch to this GAR Pros website, which is also what our surrounding counties has done, because it's a little bit more expansive in what it offers us in add-ons down the road to modernize the department. It is also in at a lower cost than what Beacon is looking to renew us by almost $500. It is something that has been budgeted in our current budget. It's something that is required by real property tax law to have the assessment role as well as property data available to the general public online.
It's compatible with our software and all.
It is compatible. They are basically tailoring it to be exactly what we currently have with ImageMate. It's going to be actually a little bit more advanced because we have an agreement with the Board of Realtors where we share logins with them for our software, and in return they share logins to us for their MLS. So now, instead of us having to manage that, they'll be able to manage their own users themselves, because the users now will be more secure and based on email addresses and not just usernames. So they basically act as the enterprise portal, and they will issue and deactivate any logins for the Board of Realtors. So we'll take that off of our staff. I did notice that the printouts were a little more bland, and this is just my personal opinion. I don't necessarily like a printout that has no branding on it to the counties. So when I was working with GAR on this, they did assure me that they are going to customize that printout to look like our current one that has the county branding as well as our office information on it, so people know where that data is generated from.
So you're migrating the data and then you're gonna upgrade the data to reach its current level in terms of what we're presenting to the public.
So the data doesn't get updated on the site until, the tentative roll
I'm
time.
talking about the baseline data. Once you move all the data over, then
Yes.
you're gonna have to do some tweaking to get it to where it is with the current software program. Am I understanding that correctly?
Well,
It's done a little bit differently.
so they will migrate all the data for us, the current assessment roll data, and it's pretty seamless the way the process works. And then once March comes and the site is set, we can literally just push a button and it will automatically migrate that data for us to the site. Same thing with the shape files. We worked with Patrice in planning to piggyback on her Esri license that we are already paying for, to where we will be able to update the shape files more regularly, probably on like a quarterly basis opposed to an annual basis. So people are seeing property line changes more frequently. That is also something that would pretty seamless for our office to do by ourselves without having to deal with the company doing it for us. And it's basically their FTPs that they set up for us, that we load the file into, click it, and it converts it and puts it on the database for us.
I'll move it.
Great. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
The second piece to this is an authorization for us to enter into a contract with GAR Associates for Prop Nexus data verification, data entry software and support. So as we know, it's been a focus of our agency over the past multiple years to work with our municipalities on data verification and keeping assessments up to date. Currently, the way that works is my staff is going out in the field with paper and pen and recording everything, taking pictures with cameras. They have to come back to the office, resize the photos. And then Tyler in my office has to manually enter all that data into a computer. This Prop Nexus software, which is a proprietary software that was developed by GAR for their own data collection purposes, that they are now vendoring out to their counties that are working with them on pros, will work with our tablet that we have. Does not require internet, so we don't have to get internet on our tablet. All the property record cards will be on the tablet. They'll be loaded. Basically, what the properties are working on that day will be loaded to the tablet. They'll make all their modifications on the tablet. They'll take their pictures with the tablet. The tablet will automatically resize and attach the pictures to the property record card. When they get back, they'll basically sync it to our county Wi-Fi. It'll load to the town's computer. Tyler will then, instead of having to enter all that data, will just review it and scrub it and make sure it all makes sense and that there's no typos or anything like that, or mismatched pictures. And then he'll hit a button and it'll upload to the RPS file.
I'll move that.
Sounds like a much better.
And just to add to that a little bit as well.
So our emails are gonna get cheaper.
I didn't go to.
More efficient. We might
Okay,
be
more
able to fit
efficient.
more into
I was trying to say
a period of time.
So do we still have to send two people in the field? Or do we still send people in teams, in pairs in the field, or will?
That is being evaluated currently. As of right now, we only have one tablet. So if we were to break out into multiple teams, it would require additional tablet. Currently, as you know, we still have only one data collector. I'll report later on that we're in the process of interviewing. We're interviewing tomorrow afternoon and Friday for that position. So hopefully I had 12 candidates apply. We narrowed it down to those that are most qualified. We're interviewing those first, and then we'll see if we get someone from that selection. 2 of them are already county employees that we're interviewing, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we do have an emergency fill for that, so hopefully we can move pretty quickly with filling that position.
I'm just following up Ron's question, though. If we have 2 data collectors and they can go out independently, then that's twice as much data.
Correct.
In one collection period.
Correct.
Right, okay.
Yeah. I didn't touch on the cost of that software. They are giving us a bundle price based on our current working relationship with GAR, they're giving us, I think it was $2,500 off of the Prop Nexus software. And that does also come with like a 30 to 60-day trial period, where if it doesn't seem to be working for our staff, or we don't like the way the product works, they will cancel the contract.
And is that a renewable at that price every year, or is it gonna go back to the 5,000?
To my understanding, we will be locked in for 3 years with that price, and then it will be negotiable after that.
We have a motion on this?
Yeah, I got a motion, I don't have a second. Yeah, second. All in favor?
Aye.
So Mark, got a question. Do you have any problems with anybody going door to door to get pictures or stuff like that? I mean, have you had the public refuse to have you on the property?
Well, some people do, and it's their right to refuse us.
Okay.
They don't have to allow us on the property, and then in which case we just make notations. In a lot of situations where we've been refused, it could have been, sometimes it's just a basic misunderstanding. And we will give the assessor our refuse list, and they'll sometimes, like Lynn, for example, send out letters to those individuals, and they said, okay, you can come back and revisit, and then we make contact to do so.
Okay.
There are some people that just outright refuse us. We have had a couple instances where, someone's barricaded our staff in the driveway. That's happened once in the town of Clover.
They were protected.
You didn't have to
So there are, I mean, in a town with 3,000 parcels, and we had it happen on one property. I mean, it's
So do
really
you-
not.
Do you
standard.
drone these people afterwards, or how do you get the information then if you're not allowed on the property? Are you?
Well, so, thanks to County 911, the whole county was flown over again by Eagle View, and all the aerial imagery was updated last year.
Okay.
So that is something for future on down the road that I know the assessors, we want to work with 911 to make that more regularly happen, because it had been like 6 years since it had happened prior, and that data gets pretty outdated. And it is a very useful, because it also allows our staff to kind of scrub the areas prior to visiting, doing the in-person data collection, data verification. And they can take measurements from that and kind of upload that data ahead of time. So that way they're just verifying that looks accurate when they're there, and not having to spend the time actually measuring. So it's making it a lot quicker. We found it very beneficial for the Clover reval, because that was really the first one that we've done data verification for, where the imagery's been updated. It was very helpful.
Are there vehicles, Mark? I mean, we have magnetic things that we put on the doors of our ticket
Yes.
collectors. Are there
Yes.
vehicles marked? as
Yes,
well?
they are. Yeah.
That helped us a lot, because people, it
Yeah,
was
you
a
can
strange
understand
truck
why
with
people
no
are picking
markings.
Yeah, we have, a magnetic sign about this
Right.
big that says Columbia County Road property.
So that
on it.
makes it easier, I
Yeah.
think,
They
to
have
get in.
badges and everything,
Right.
Yes. Yeah, they're required to have their name badges on and hanging
But
from them
that's if you
visible.
get to the door.
I know,
You gotta get the driveway
Right.
first.
Sure.
There's always gonna be some, but.
Lastly, the last resolution I have, unfortunately, there was an issue in the Lebanon School District. It's for a correction on a tax bill. The bank assessed the payment onto the wrong parcel, and the tax collector never caught it. So what happened was the school taxes were re-levied on the town and county tax bill, and they were already paid. So this is just removing that tax levy, but because the re-levy of the school tax, but because it's over 2,500, it requires full board approval.
Move it.
Second.
No favor. Carry.
Thank you. Just a couple updates for you. So you might have heard that there was a change to the limits on the senior disabled exemptions. Right now, the way the current statute is, it was allowing up to 50% at the lowest income level, but now that's been extended up to 65% of an exemption at the lowest income level. That would require local adoption of that. So I don't think there's enough time for us to do it now prior to March. However, it's something to look into. I know we were looking to evaluating our income limits as well. So it's something to consider. Also, there is another veterans exemption that was signed into law by the governor in very quickly. And it didn't really have much explanation. It's causing a lot of confusion around the assessment community. So I figured it would, in case you hear anything, I'd like to present it to you guys so you understand. There is a new exemption. It's a 100% exemption for certain veterans. It is not for every veteran that has 100% disabled. They have to meet certain requirements. The first is they have to suffer from PTSD or a TBI, which post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, military sexual trauma, or they have to have been a discharged LGBT veteran with an other than dishonorable or bad conduct discharge. They have to have a 100% disability rating, permanent and total. They have to be a totally disabled based on individual unemployability. And this is the really difficult one, they have to qualify for the VA's specially adapted housing grant. So they have to meet all those requirements. And currently the reason why I'm bringing it up, this is currently a local option. However, they just filed a chapter amendment on this that it will become effective in October. That will make it mandatory without local option.
Okay.
And
we had to vote on it, but yeah.
Right. So this will become mandatory next year in the next assessment roll cycle. I will see from Veterans Affairs if anybody's eligible. In most counties, there's not many eligible at all for it. That's all to really report on now. I don't even know if that chapter amendment's been signed yet, but I know that it's coming.
But that's supposed to take effect in October, whether we do anything or not.
Correct.
So that was my question. Was that enabling legislation or a fact? But looks like it's going to be a fact. So
yes, it will be mandatory.
and I had Stuyvesant look at that, and there was nobody that began to qualify for that.
Right.
At the time. But there could be.
You
shared that with Rachel here at Veterans.
It's so new that I haven't had a chance to do that yet,
Yeah.
but I do plan on consulting with her about it and see if she knows of anybody that would be eligible in the county.
Like you say, it's been on the news, so
Yeah.
people know about it.
Definitely a lot of confusion about it. Supposedly the chapter amendment's going to have more clarity as well.
Unless the occupancy tax chapter amendment didn't bring clarity at all. Maximum opacity.
You could hope, right?
Only hope.
One
Back to the other two, on both the 65% as well as the limits. I do agree. I'd like to look at that this year and think about it for next year, but can you run us some kind of numbers that, what the impact would be?
Yeah.
They both get complicated to me on how much.
This
impact that could
this will be an effort between my office and the assessors, because the assessors have all the income data for the seniors because of STAR.
Yeah.
So they will be able to give us a better interpretation as to who is currently not eligible for the senior exemption, but would become eligible, and how many people that entails.
Now, when you change the percentage, that one tricky. I mean, before when we were just going to raise the amount, so we could kind of
Right.
calculate that a little bit to say, what if we went? And again, my proposal would be, or my suggestion at this point in time, without knowing anything, is to look at trying to go halfway again between where we are today and total exemptions and.
Right, yeah, we don't have to go right up to the state limit.
I would also be curious, when we do our budget, we get that report that tells the exemption
Right,
report, that tells us what the percentage of exemptions are in our
Yeah.
community. We're always surprised at how high that level is.
Right.
So I think it'd be nice to poll our communities and see what those exemption reports look like countywide.
Okay.
And see if I'm an aberration in terms of my exemptions, or if that's the rule. But we're almost at 10%, I think, in terms of exemptions.
Yeah.
So seems like that, and that burden is just shifted to other taxpayers. It doesn't go away. It's
Correct,
other
right.
taxpayers.
That's the thing nobody usually understands,
Right.
but.
So we want to help as many people as we can, but we want to look at it in the context.
But
of
just
what
due
it's
to
costing
the cost of living increases, I could see us increasing that sum, but maybe not go to the full. What's the state's total limit now? It's the dollar figure, not.
The dollar figure at the maximum income would be 58, I believe.
Yeah, sounds right.
And we're currently at 42.4.
So I mean, if we met that halfway, but left some buffer, because they may not change that enabling legislation again for another
Right.
10 years or something, you know.
Well, but it also, maybe just January, because so many people are coming into the assessor's office, but there's so many people coming in saying, I only missed this exemption by $500 or
Well,
$1,000.
that's my point, you know, that as income continues to increase, I mean, everybody gets a
I think
cost
we
of
all,
living
I
raise.
think we all know somebody that's probably in that boat that's missing the exemption. by
Right,
just
by a couple
$200.
dollars. So if you raised it by a few, I think it would
Yeah.
just may stay the same, you know, to your point, you know. But then going from 50% to 65%, I don't know how that,
And there are two towns in the county that are at the
Yeah.
maximum, Greenport and Taconic. So that will also kind of give us a scenario as to how many, I mean, they both have a pretty high, well,
and I think that
I
was
know
some of our
Greenport's
interest
pretty
is
high.
if the county is gonna do something, we wanna do it so that the majority of the towns can all follow that. You know, but
Right.
that's all gonna take time, so
oh, yeah.
the quicker we can start that and have time to talk about it in our towns, that would be good.
Did you have any luck with the New Lebanon School District in terms of was it the veterans exemption?
Well, no, it was the senior exemption. They were
Senior.
looking at increasing their limits as well too, because they were below the county. So they were looking to come up to the excuse me, to the county limit and see what impact that would have. Last I knew, they were still working on it. I don't know if they moved forward with it or not, but
That's my school, one of my school districts, so that's.
Right.
why I'm wondering.
and your assessor had produced them
Spreadsheet.
an analysis showing them that it would be a minimal impact on the other taxpayers in the school district to raise the income limits. I think it sounded like they were gonna move forward with it, but I haven't heard anything definitive. So just a couple other updates. The class was in today that I have 3 more classes for is my commercial industrial valuation class. It's my second to last class that I need for my director certification. I'm already talked about the interviews I'm doing. We have completed data verification at Qualric and we're starting on data entry. And the New York State Directors Association Winter Conference was moved from February to March because NISAC moved their conference. So
Oh, we
We were talking about that yesterday, yeah.
Yeah.
it always coincides and they're always right across the street from each other. So they try and keep them the same time. So when they saw NISAC move theirs, they moved it.
So, you done?
Yes.
That's right. So I have a question for the group, maybe can answer this question. We were going over with Lynn, our pilot program that we have in the town. Of course, we have like 5 of this. But we did find they were all over the place. And I think she said you guys negotiated your own pilots where the county did ours. Does the county have a printout of all the pilots that are in the county? You said?
Yeah.
Mike,
Mike touched on that.
Mike,
Yeah.
okay.
And those have to be included with the budgets for each town.
I know.
But yeah, Mike's office is the one that really handles all the pilots. Our office hasn't been involved with.
No, I know that. But
And
I
we
was
did
just
try
asking
to
the question.
standardize that some
Greg,
years ago after Ghent went rogue on us. you know.
Right.
But also,
Active.
one of the things I learned is I was declaring a pilot that was not a pilot because it was a volunteer and not a contractual pilot. So they're pilots and pilots. So keep-
Man,
So now there's pilots and pilots.
Yes.
My biggest thing is we have big gaps, one's way down here, one's way up, and I guess I want to compare and say, why is that? Why did
With one agency sort of taking it over, that sort of will alleviate those gaps over time.
so Brenda, in your budget, if you move it from pilots to
Okay, I'll
franchise
get-
payments, you can get away with
He's
that.
still here, right?
Yeah.
See, things happen,
So the other thing I found with a couple of housing projects that are coming down the road is that the developers are willing to do a pilot for the equivalent of the taxes. So there's no tax loss to the community. So this is becoming a much more negotiable subject now.
Right. Well, I know Greg did. He's negotiated very well, so that's why I say, I know that.
I have a question. You like your job?
I do. I
Sounds
very
like he
much,
does, right?
very much enjoy it. There was, some growing pains at the beginning, but I'm small. We've been rolling with the punches and
One died, one quit,
oh, retired.
Retired, yeah, I shouldn't say it that way, I don't mean it that way, but the death was kind of certainly unexpected.
Yeah, yeah,
We got
we,
your challenges.
yeah, we persevered though, and we look forward to a good year and we have assessment rules.
We got all the tax bills out on
And
time.
new
so-
contract.
New contracts, yep, three data verification contracts and,
And we'll be
2
done
more
this
on the
year.
horizon.
Be done this year.
well, I mean,
Oh, wow.
your verification.
Start with a well, that's.
Your
You're ahead of
verification
everybody.
is done, but you're at 27,
I know.
so the valuation won't start until next year.
Right.
But the verification is done and the entry will be done.
Well, we can bill you this year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we make sure we get that.
Oh, yeah, don't you worry, we'll have an
Don't you
invoice
worry,
for
that's
you.
Okay, anybody from, anything else you want to talk about? Any motion to
Yeah,
adjourn?
I do have a question. Since Brenda brought up the lodging tax, where's the Alex new, where's that? Like, is it happening, the lodging tax?
Occupancy tax.
Sorry, yeah, whatever you tax on housing and houses and vacation houses and Airbnbs, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The registry's up and running, right? And we're collecting tax. And we're working on additional collection partners.
So are all the towns in, or,
I think
We're
most of
in
them.
by definition.
Well, yeah,
I
they're,
mean, is it happening?
their Airbnbs or their STRs, for lack of a better
Right.
term, are getting taxed via the state. And we're starting to roll out the occupancy tax town by town, whether, through a registration process. Not all towns are there yet, but, it's good. We knew it was good. That part was gonna take a while.
So I can speak for Stuyvesant real quickly. I mean, there's two different parts of that. We passed a local law that you have to register with the town of Stuyvesant, so our code enforcement officer checks local arms, egress, all those types of things. So there's a registration with the town, but they also have to register with the county in order to pay the tax, the occupancy tax. And we do have two different lists going on that aren't completely coordinated yet, but we're working on that.
Yeah.
So that slows it up.
Well, it's just been, I think it's been confusing for some of the property owners, knowing that they got to register two different places in some cases.
And that was part of the confusion associated with the chapter amendment, because originally we thought it was going to be organized that it would be one-stop shopping.
Right.
But because the land use rules were integrated into the chapter amendment, that means that has to be managed locally within each town as opposed to at the county level. So people are being helpful and we're.
The state confused us, believe it?
Yeah. Those who supported the state legislation, it actually threw a curveball at us.
Right, exactly.
And there's no county tax on the city of Hudson.
That's
Is that correct? Hudson's
No, that-
completely
that's
separate
excluded.
from this,
They
okay?
do their own, yeah.
And what's the tax percentage for the county for that? Sorry,
4%. Hudson's is 5 or 6, I think.
They raised theirs.
Yeah, this is last.
Yeah, the state tax is 4% as well, so.
Okay,
So it's happening, but
Okay.
everything.
can I get a motion to adjourn yet?
Well, let me think about
No,
it.
please. We got 10 minutes and we gotta be going.
Well, I'll make the motion.
All
Did
right.
somebody make it?
Tim made it. Linda, you want a second?
Well, I don't want to cut out Brenda. She
I
wants
get
to
my
see her.
fair share. Yeah, I heard Tim first, you second. We got
That's
it.
all we need.
See ya.
Anybody else?
Going.
Gone.
Gone.
Oh, good job.
We're adjourned.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are adjourned.
We are adjourned.
All right, I'd like to call the January Public Works Committee to order.
Go ahead.
As we get started, I do want to introduce a new member. We have Supervisor Lutz from Akron joining us today. So welcome, Colleen. For your quick information, we have 4 departments that really present here. We have highway, solid waste, facilities, and engineering. Engineering is Ray Jakowski. He is Commissioner of Public Works and kind of lends his expertise to any of those committees at any time that needed. So, but everybody does their own thing. I know Tony will miss Jim's harassing him. So if you want to follow in Jim's footsteps, Jim was always good at harassing Tony directly, But first we have Tony DeMarco with Highway. And feel free to raise any questions, okay? The same with Supervisor Mondaro.
Right. Work schedule. The usual winter work, patching potholes, cutting brush,
Summer
equipment
snow.
maintenance, a lot of snow and ice control.
More to come.
A lot of stuff.
A lot of salt. Yeah, we're hurting at the moment for salt, so this next storm should be
I
interesting.
think everybody is.
Yeah. And we've been preparing our annual
We're good,
service.
so if you need something.
You're good, Doc?
I try to do that tomorrow.
Uh,
Don't say anything.
preparing our annual service and commodities bids. They actually went to the paper last week, and those bids will be open at the end of the month. Personnel update, we terminated one full-time laborer. We hired one motor equipment operator. Those two are not related. Those are lose one, gain one.
Yeah.
No new business, and I have 5 resolution requests. And the first one is to enter into a 3-year agreement with Columbia Tree Care to take down trees that are deemed a hazard.
Second. Motion is second, all in favor?
Second is to authorization to extend the bids for pavement reclamation, shotcrete, tire service, and motor oil and lube.
Move it.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
And next is authorization to sell at
Move it.
auction. So
Second.
I like that.
There you go.
The motion is second, all in favor? Opposed?
I'm gonna sell that auction one. Next, is, and this is a CHIPS purchase, to purchase 2, John Deere 5059 tractors with diamond mowers from United Ag and Turf off the Sourcewell contract.
What kind of mowers are they?
Diamond.
Over the rail?
No, they're
Okay.
just flat mowers. I've already had this.
Yeah, you got an 11 o'clock email last
I
night
thought
saying.
there were multiple people on these mowers today. But yeah, no, they're not boom mowers.
Move it.
Second.
The motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Why you don't like the other?
I don't.
These we can actually get, huh?
Yeah, these 2 are actually ready.
We had a few years, we get rid of it.
And the last one is and this is out of the vehicular equipment line, to purchase one 5095M tractor with diamond mowers from United Ag and Turf.
Move it.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? So this year, we're gonna be able to mow all the grass once it grows.
If and when.
Yeah, right. That's gonna happen.
They were pretty close in horsepower.
Those 2, this one was the first year.
First two a little smaller.
Like 5 horse.
Is it 5 horse?
But it said, now you thought. I was
Okay, well, I did include all of the specs, so if anybody wants to.
Okay.
Got it.
Online.
It's the new ones where they use the engine
They're there, too.
part of the frame.
Is it?
Yeah.
You wanna see it?
I don't know which one he's talking about.
It was,
Little light, I mean.
which one?
Yeah, we were looking for
Jim's
something a
under.
little smaller aspect of some of these roads.
The specs are all here.
Our guy wanted about 75 horse, I didn't bring them. A full frame, you know, hold up.
Well, I emailed him because we had a 5 Series with a boom mower and the axle bearings and seals go out and then it compromises the transmission too. So 1,800 hours, we had a $40,000 bill. So,
Damn.
That's tough to
and the
swallow.
salesmen all know it down there that they shouldn't put those mowers on those tractors and so. But gotta move equipment, right?
Gotta get rid of what we got first, right? All right, any other questions for Tony? You could stay home this weekend, all right? You know, just don't go out and plow.
Make Chris do it.
All right. Next, we have solid waste.
Hi, Wendy. Hi. everyone. So our department is very busy throughout January doing our annual reports. That's the annual reports for all the stations, our materials, MERC report, e-waste, household hazardous waste, reimbursements. The department is also working on the biennial local solid waste management plan update for the 2024-2025 calendar year. This is an extensive document. It requires New York State DEC approval before it is adopted. The deadline is sometime in early spring. These documents are both on our solid waste website. There's a tab that says local solid waste management plan. You click on that. It's got the actual 10-year management plan on there. It has our first biennial report that we just did for the 22-23 year. It also has the state annual or state management plan also on there. It's very resourceful. And these are the following tasks that we need to complete for 2026, as we have an obligation, the county has an obligation to adhere to the local solid waste management plan that we have. So we have to do all of these things.
So monitoring waste reduction policies being used in the county, identify existing reuse programs within the county, evaluate the feasibility, and explaining recycling efforts in public events, schools, institutions, supporting the New York Product Stewardship Council to continue education on project stewardship initiatives. I don't know if you want me to read these all.
On top of taking out the trash and the recycling, right, you know?
Right. So there's a couple of bigger things on here that I've been kind of like, if you will, kicking the can down the road. And one of them is the agricultural plastics recycling. This is something that's been on our plan. It was on the plan the last time, and it is also on this 10-year plan. We don't really have any local recyclers. But the state is kind of on us to figure this out, not just Columbia County, but, you know, New York State as a whole. So upon your travels, if you happen to hear of any place that is accepting these types of things, even if it's in Vermont, there used to be a place in Vermont, you could just pass that along to me. That would be great, because we keep hitting dead ends and it's kind of hard to help when we get calls asking, where can I recycle this tubing? And I don't know. And
Not the old Bernie after dark or something.
so.
Oh, was that my invoice?
There was an outfit a few years back that would take it, but had to be clean and then it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
There's something in the state of Washington where I watched they had poly twine and crap everywhere and they were handling it all, but how they sorted it, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Twine would be easy. It's the plastic.
Just how it covers me.
But it's
That's
an
been an
ongoing
for,
issue.
10 years, I think.
And I kind of keep, you know, I always am reaching out and trying to find information so I can at least put that in our plan for the updates. Like I did reach out to these organizations and we are trying to find something. But again, on your travels, if you happen to hear of something.
While we're on the subject, have you developed any relationships with like tire recyclers for industrial and agricultural tires? Because it's really something I'd like to integrate into our spring cleanup for the town. If we can get work at a reasonable rate to let some farmers come in, and even if we come with sidewalls and have some incentive program.
Right.
Like
So there is not a whole lot around here.
Green Tire, I think they did some.
And it's really expensive.
Was there in Kinderhook or Chatham a company that made doormats out of recycled tires and was always looking for tires? They were like Restoration Hardware. They made these.
Not that I know about.
I'll look that up and see if I can find it, because they were looking for material.
Oh. I want their number.
Yeah, right.
Restoration Hardware is a fancy hardware store in the
Okay.
city.
Yeah.
But those I found when I talked about the mats with them, they said, oh, they're made in someplace in Columbia County, and they told me, and I don't remember. Well, look it up.
Okay.
But I think they may still be active.
Sure. I know
We
we,
have two of their doormats, but I don't.
oh, okay.
And it's all recycled tires.
Look, I'm not sure if they're label on it.
You're gonna find somebody.
Right.
You can't
So
find anybody.
there might be a manufacturer that's looking for.
For like the larger tires, you know, we go through casings for the 24-inch and below tires. I did inherit, a 50-yard container of very large tires, that have probably been around for decades. And
Would have been a
so,
lot cheaper to get rid of them back then.
so I have been putting them in these loads towards the back, letting casings know, but they are, they're charged by ply. And so my normal load is $2,200 or whatever, and you know, 8 to 10 tires could cost 24.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot of resource for us at the moment.
But you could list that as part of your report, though, so you're working on that.
I am working on that, but Greene County used to, I don't know if they still do, they were borrowing, kind of doing a pilot with a shredder, of which I believe that they could shred tires on. I never
Not
heard
radials.
anything about it. What's
Probably
that?
not radials already.
I don't know. This thing kind of did just about everything, so,
Isn't that what playground material is made of, the shredded tires?
It was-
Not
it was
anymore.
once, not anymore.
Yeah,
They don't do it
It's
anymore.
not
That's why we
ideal.
all have the shakes, man.
It's not ideal. So
It seems like a boating or barges or somebody could use these bigger loader tires, stuff like that, that we can't get rid of. I mean, they, you know, for a lot of times they'll use stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wonder, is there any way to find some places? I mean, I have loader tires sitting around, I just don't know what to do with them. I mean,
Yeah.
what do we do?
We all got them.
I know, it's a problem.
For the next encephalitis scare has us all going after mosquito havens and.
Yeah.
So much.
Positive reinforcement.
Everything's getting frozen right now.
Right, that's right. Mosquitoes are under control this weekend.
Inside out.
Oh, dear.
There's
So-
so many high school football teams you can get into them for calisthenics.
That's true. So recycling flyers, on to recycling. This is a flyer that I just sent to, we deal with 3 municipalities that come and utilize our stations for recycling. Town of Greenport, Village of Philmont occasionally, and the city of Hudson. So I did send this to all 3 of those municipalities and asked them to send it to residents that utilize their service. With the holiday season, we always see an increase in contamination. And so we're just trying to get the word out that we really don't want plastic bags in our recycling. And there's other packing, peanuts, styrofoam, all of those things are not recyclable. We don't want them in there. So this is very easy.
I thought it was very nice. I
Very-
printed some out, gave it to our seniors.
Yeah,
groups,
it's
there
just-
just to, you know.
And this is just for the Columbia County single stream recycling guidelines. So it's very plain, so they got that in case anyone asks.
How does that fit in with the other recycling centers, like some of the, the local centers? Can we use those too?
So this will work for all Columbia County stations that we have here because it all comes to our station. The problem that we have is that curbside pickup. So when you have a private hauler, say for instance, County Waste is a big one around here, right? Their recycling guidelines are much different than ours. They take, from what I understand, plastics 1 through 7. They'll take everything, right? And paper and cardboard, and their guidelines are a little bit different. So it makes it difficult when people come to use our station because we only take 1, 2s, and 5s because that's where the markets are. That's where we have markets. And so we're not collecting the others as recyclable and then throwing it out. It's already being thrown out. We're not, they call it wish cycling. We're not doing that. So that's the biggest difference between, it's hard for Columbia County to go and do a mass recycling
Program.
across the county because those with curbside collection don't adhere to these guidelines. The only thing that is consistent is it should be clean. There shouldn't be styrofoam. They really shouldn't have plastic bags. But that's about the only similarities that they have.
Yeah, see, our municipality doesn't do curbside, so we would probably do well
Right.
with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and well, I'll let you finish, but I do have some questions about the convenience stations. Yeah.
Sure.
And many years ago, I will say, before Wendy's term on there, but Jolene and I kind of advocated with DEC to do a statewide cooperation on recycling so that people from all over the state would be able to follow the same kind of rules. If you get people that live in New York but come up here and vacate, it's very different no matter where you are, and depending on what vendor you use, recycling rules are different. But New York State didn't want any part of that back then. But they want to mandate where they're going to put solar. That's another thing. I'm sorry. Ryan.
No, that's
Yeah.
fine.
digress.
I mean, that didn't go well today.
Yep.
The department is going to be attending a webinar at the end of this month in regards to the New York State food donation and food scrap recycling law. It's changing a little bit in 27 and 29. There's very little impact to Columbia County for this. The only 3 commercial institutions that are on this particular list where they have to follow it are the two Hannafords and the Price Chopper. All other entities have been exempt at this point. I don't know how that's going to look moving forward. We might get a little more information on that moving forward as well. But currently, if you generate 2 ton per week, you need to find a place to donate food or recycle the food scraps. If you're within a 50 miles radius of an organic recycler, which is also an issue because there aren't that many around. The town of Bethlehem is one that takes compost food scrap, but the others on the DEC website are just yard waste collectors. They don't actually take food scrap. So as you can see, they're going to change the weight to 1 ton in 27 and then down to a ½ ton in 2029, which is going to change how things look, perhaps maybe here in Columbia County with some bigger, smaller producers. And that's not to say that they won't eventually put back in the nursing homes and the hospitals, which are exempt at the moment. And then also starting January 1st, the New York State foam ban expanded to include foam coolers, just as a heads up for y'all. They're the containers designed and intended for cold storage. So those are no longer allowed in New York. So you might see
Go on
like,
vacation in Mass, you can get one, but.
yeah, right. But you know,
Right, you know.
right, there's medications that get shipped
Yeah.
to people's home, and over the last year, we've been noticing a change in the packaging of that, which has been an issue for us for contamination, because the packaging inside the box says that it's recyclable, but it's actually, we don't have a market for that, so it's not actually recyclable on our guidelines. So it's been a little bit of an issue.
More recycling.
And then we've got employee updates. I've got, we did get to fill 1 part-time position, a labor position at the end of December. I did have a part-time laborer resign at the end of December, so they kind of washed each other out. I did have a MEO2 resign at the end of December. I have 2 part-time laborers that are currently out, and the one MEO2 that was out is back now, for now, so.
So if anybody's bored on Saturday, then you've got a job for you, you know?
So, and we have been really busy. I know your clerks are probably saying the same thing. Foot traffic was really heavy in December for senior permit sales. And also in January. Our stations did see that as well. So it's not like, we're just not selling the senior permits,
Right.
but our foot traffic was also up for December and January as well. No, they're just, I think we were all a little surprised at how quickly they went through inventory that took much longer last year to go through. So it was just kind of.
People are getting into the idea. of it,
Yeah.
you know?
Nowhere to go.
Yeah, so it was just, that's the conversation I'm mostly having with the clerks. It was just, gosh, we sold out already.
Yeah, we had a lot come in December, you know, but.
Yeah, and I think it helped to bump it up a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I hope that it helped your clerks, because I know they're really busy right now. And then station and operation updates. So the Gallatin station, we all know that Gallatin station is temporarily closed from December 1st to April 10th. We kind of did a little checklist in the office. Anytime someone called from that area, you know, it was either a positive or a negative complaint. And we're happy to announce that of the many phone calls and emails that we got, there was 3 that were really not going to be happy. So we took that as a win. Most residents were really happy to know that everything that they were doing at Gallatin, they could do at Copac or Livingston, that they were all like stations that they could go to. And we did have 2 instances that garbage and recycling were left under the pole barn. The station is completely empty at this point. There's no containers or anything left there. There is a gate that's locked. There are signs stating that it's closed. We did find names and addresses. I did send out just a note saying, hey, we're not open. You can go here or do this or whatever. And we haven't heard any negative comments from the residents that have received my letters. And then Greenports. So we had a fire the day after Thanksgiving. Our station is open the day after Thanksgiving, even though the county offices are closed. We had a fire in the recycling top load building. It was extinguished quickly. Greenport Fire Department was amazing. They were here very quickly. They got it knocked down very quickly. Fortunately, we had no injuries. There was no damage sustained to the building or to any of the equipment. It was helpful that we go on a skeleton crew on that Friday because it is a holiday. So we don't have a lot of people in the yard. I have, we don't have all the drivers in, and I just have one yard guy and a couple of laborers. So helpful. The department, we're still currently awaiting the official report from the fire company. And although they didn't find a specific source, it is suspected from what we were told and what we saw that it most likely was a lithium-ion battery disposed of in a recycling container. And this is going to be an ongoing challenge. We've talked about this a lot last year. So I've been monitoring with the US EPA. They're doing extended battery producer responsibility framework. They've been doing a lot of online stakeholder meetings. So we will be attending an online roundtable discussion at the end of, did I even say on here, maybe this month or next, I can't remember. And they're looking to get information from local municipalities and state level and local governments to see what they can do to help push the EPR elements and how to framework something so that it's consistent across the entire state, because we're having a really hard time. No one knows what to do with these batteries, and we're finding them in everything. They're in vapes, they're in, just batteries. I mean, everything now has them, and no one really knows how to dispose of them. So it's a real issue.
But there is some product responsibility with like Lowe's that are accepting the cordless.
So those, and that's great, because even if we wind up with one of those, we, just run over to Lowe's.
Yeah.
It's the other batteries, lithium ions that we're finding, and vape
Things went to
pens,
toys today of all sorts.
those are a real issue. They're not taken for hazardous waste. We've had this conversation before, right? So that's medical waste, it's hazardous waste, and it has a lithium ion battery. Most of the time they aren't able to be removed. And so we're finding those in the trash a lot. I'm finding people are throwing out your cell phone chargers, like those battery pack chargers, that's lithium ion batteries. So all of these things that people don't, they stop working or they break or whatever, and no one knows what to do with them and are throwing them in the trash. And sometimes they're throwing them in our recycling, and it's becoming a bigger issue every year. And so they really need to have outlets. And we just unfortunately, we don't have them.
We're also getting small hearing aid batteries,
Yes.
batteries, all those little tiny batteries.
Mm-hmm. And it's very problematic, because although they're small and the fire is not going to be large, they're still going to produce a fire. A vape pen, if it's around a piece of paper, it might only have one or two small explosions, but it's going to catch whatever is around it on fire.
Sure.
So it's problematic. So we also will be conducting recycling audits in January, and basically what that looks like is basically we'll be in the top load building looking at the recycling getting dumped out of all the containers, and
Bravo to your fortitude and
Trying to educate.
seeing where the gaps are, what stations we need to really focus in on. And we'll also be doing that with the municipalities that come in. so I gave them a heads up with the flyer, just saying, hey, we're gonna be doing this.
I do have to commend both Wendy and the Greenport Fire Company for their handling of this. So Wendy called me right away when it happened, and did see pictures from the fire chief, and it was a good fire for a few minutes.
Yeah.
But they were there to knock it down, and Wendy stayed calm, didn't jump off the bridge or anything. So good for her. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I made it very quickly from where I was to the Greenport station.
Yeah.
So I was very grateful that there was no issues with that.
Yeah.
So, and then our food scrap, we diverted over 30 tons from the landfill last year. So good job.
It was a good job.
Chatham collected the most. Greenport came in second, and then it kind of trickled down from there. Yeah.
Well, that's why I defend our transfer station. The people love it. I mean, it's unbelievable, the volume of cooking.
Someday we're gonna get them their own cooker over there.
We take it. As long as you pay for the juice.
Yeah.
Gotta start allowing chickens.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
I have just a comment about the Gallatin station. We actually received a tremendous amount of negative feedback from it. Our clerk, poor thing, oh my gosh, between taxes and collecting everything, because our community is a bit older, a lot of people, when you're doubling their time to travel to a transfer station, especially when the weather could be poor, it becomes a little problematic for them. So is there anything that I could read up on just to make sure that I can be as most informed as possible to explain to them why this would happen and why this choice was made? As far as I'm thinking like financials, usually most people, if you just say, oh, it's going to be, we're saving X amount of dollars,
Right.
They say, okay, we can deal with it.
So you should, I don't know, I think we've got minutes online from the solid waste work group, is that right? So we've been commending a solid waste work group to try and look at the overall cost of solid waste and how we can get that better. Ray's going to talk about that a little bit. There is a survey out, and I don't know if you were included in that because we started that in December, I think. But there's a survey out there. We're trying to get opinions from supervisors to see what direction to go into, and one of the big things on there was, should we reduce the number of transfer stations in the county to save money and staffing and things like that. So this was a little experiment when we were really short staffed in the fall, let's try it for the winter and see how it goes. It was, Gallatin and the New Lebanon one, which was just recycling only. So that was easier yet. But, so it was a financial thing and a staffing issue, but there's a bigger picture, and I invite you to be part of the solid waste work group a little bit and see what's going on there. There is some minutes, and we will be commending a meeting. Ray's going to talk about that at the end of
February.
Yeah,
February 20th.
Right, February. There, I'm thinking the other one, the occupancy. Yeah, but
The videos of the meeting.
Perfect. Okay. Cause I did get the survey, but
okay.
felt like I could not adequately answer any. I mean, a few of them, yes, I could, from just based on public input.
Sure.
But I just wanted to make sure I could fill it out appropriately.
Yeah, no, I get it. And some of us, many of us, it's got to be an opinion, and because at this time, you may not know all the answers. We get that, but how do you feel about it? That's what we're looking for, But I invite you anytime, go out and visit Wendy and see the Greenport station to see all of the things that we've got going.
Yeah, awesome.
The cost for this continue to exceed, and you hear Wendy's talk about the state's expectation of what we need to do and how do we provide this service has been an ongoing discussion. That's all I'll say for today. But there's a lot that's been going on, so I apologize for any inconvenience of your residency, but it is something that we're trying to focus on. How could we do that better? So.
I have talked to history, but our clerks have really been inundated with unhappy people in New Lebanon because of the closure in New Lebanon. So I don't see a report on New Lebanon. Maybe no one called the county. They have been coming in across the town clerk's office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very unhappy.
I think it would be helpful for our department if the clerks had deferred them to our department so that we could answer
They've got a long
questions.
line.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah. It's hard for us when we're only getting people that
Percentage of,
decided to give us a call or email
but
instead
that's the
of.
reason I wanted to bring it up. So you know
Yeah.
that there is local concern about it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Are the people that are working, so the closest one for us would be Copake.
Mhm.
Are there people, are the employees saying anything about people coming in disgruntled?
A little,
Or anything? Okay, I'm just
not
wondering.
disgruntled, no, more just confused.
Questions.
Just because the layout is much different at Copic than it was at Gallatin. Gallatin's very small.
Yes, yeah.
We were only open one day a week. And unfortunately, we were running with just one person there. So there was a lot of leeway with what was happening at the Gallatin station as far as trash and or recycling, because the guy couldn't be everywhere at once. And that's what we're hearing is, just
Now there's
the
oversight.
regular, the actual rules and whatever are a little bit more, enforced, thank you, than what they're accustomed to, just because Copake has 3 guys, because they're very busy, and one is basically doing paperwork half the time. And then I've got, one on the chute and one in the recycling building. So it's, they're staffed adequately to make sure that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So. But anytime you want to call or stop by or whatever. Sure. Monday through Friday with us. And, show you the food scrap digester. That's
Right.
cool too. So, yeah. And then I have 2 resolution requests. One's, thank you.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
And this is to enter into agreements with the various commercial establishments.
Move it.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
And I do know that Ray is gonna bring it up, but for anyone that received that survey that didn't fill it out, it would be helpful to fill it out before February, just so that we can,
I heard Kippy brought his tonight. So.
everything documented and sit with the work group and really have a productive meeting.
Yeah.
I'll be, thank you. I'll be.
All right. Thank you, Wendy. Next up, we have Mr. Drakowski with engineering.
Yeah, so I'll just continue as far as the solid waste. So there is a subcommittee meeting that's going to take place on February 25th at 2 p.m. And as Wendy had indicated, we really would like to get all of those questionnaires back as far as the responses from all the supervisors. Currently, I've only received about 11 of them, including the one that I received tonight.
Okay.
So if I may ask Supervisor Knott and Supervisor Adams to please reach out to your supervisors as far as your caucuses.
Can you give us a list of who did? So.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think I got 2.
I got mine, yeah.
Christmas. I think, I know Richard.
Right.
Wilson and
Yes.
somebody else did.
Yeah.
And then.
And that's, yeah, and other than that, I have,
If you send me a list,
Yeah.
I'll get together.
Sure, a list.
and that
You
way-
got it from my office, right? My no party caucus.
Yes. I did get you.
We did get Donnell, so we know how to get you. You just gotta talk to Kathy now, that's all, but.
But yeah, so because what we want to do is in order to make that meeting as productive as possible, as Wendy indicated, we want to get that information, we want to compile those answers, so that way we can provide it to each one of the supervisors, so we can really start thinking about some decision making and really saying as a whole, rather than at a small group, but as a whole, the way the supervisors want to see solid waste move forward as far as the county. And so the input is really appreciated, and we'd like to get that early part of February, so we'll be prepared for that February.
But Colleen, a real quick answer to that too is, I mean, many years ago when solid waste was started, it was started as an enterprise fund. So it looked as though it should always make all of its own money. It never did. It was always subsidized with some tax dollars, and there's objection to that. We have since decided that it's no longer an enterprise fund. We've made it just a county fund like everything else, but people can still scrutinize. It's still a fund. So you can look at it and say, well, we spent 4 million, but we brought in 3 million. So we had $1 million of tax money that funded it. Is that something the supervisors want to continue? Do we consider it a service, or do we consider it a luxury that we should pass on to somebody else? Those are the discussions that have been ongoing for a long time, and it's a challenge. Anyway, I'm sorry, man.
All right, bridges, County Route, 25, Stuyvesant Falls Bridge. So in case anyone hasn't heard, that bridge is closed, temporarily until we get the level 1 load rating analysis complete. So this was prompted by the red flag that was received during a fall inspection of that particular structure. New York State DOT allowed us to keep it open for a while, but then after the holidays, they decided they wanted it closed until the level 1 came back. So level 1 load rating is anticipated to be completed by mid-February. They've already done their site inspection. They're now creating the model, and then they'll be running the load rating. So generally speaking, we can expect one of 3 items, either indicating that it comes back that we can continue with a 12-ton, an indication of a lower rating, or closing it. Okay. I have asked them to also provide us with a budget cost estimate that if we had to make repairs to the structure in order to keep it open, what that cost might be. Okay, so I'll get that feedback and I'll be presenting that to the committee. Because again, keep in mind, we have the Stuyvesant Falls Bridge, but we also have the Rossman Road Bridge that will be taking place. And we hope Rossman Road will take place in the 2027 timeframe. And Stuyvesant Falls Bridge will remain closed, and I do not anticipate, not remain closed, but the construction on whatever takes place with Stuyvesant really won't take place until 2029 or 2030 at the earliest. So there will be an overlap there, and the detour is a very long detour. So we may need to make an investment, even though, you know, that repair would only be considered temporary until 2030 when something's done full scale with the bridge, in order to try to reduce that impact for emergency services and so forth.
Do you think that the fact that it has been, this issue has arisen, will provide more community support for the replacement of the bridge? Is the basis for finding more community support?
I think the line has been drawn in the sand.
Yeah.
I hate to say, by some. I would hope that that would be the case, that, you know, calmer minds would prevail. I'm not convinced of that, though.
What if the populace that used to not having a bridge?
I think what'll happen, to the question,
Save a lot of money.
usually it's the, the minority tends to be the more vocal. Okay, the majority tends to be silent. So if it is closed, perhaps the majority folks that want a replacement or something done may speak a little louder and actually step up.
Some didn't care before, but then now that they can't drive over it, they care. You know? But I don't know if it's gonna help the state. I mean, we're really wrestling with the state's review of that, so.
Yeah, it's not going to, so it's not going to
Doesn't change
speed
that
up,
process.
it's not going to change the process, it's not going to speed up the review, it's still going to be a long drawn out, again, because we have to go through the section 106 and 4F process. And if you remember, we've been talking about Copake, which the town, everyone was for, as far as moving the clock all of 35 feet. And yet it's been a 28-month process with the Federal Highway Administration. So again, it's just
a month every foot.
yeah. It's just, unfortunately, I run into this time and time again with multiple agencies that they need to check the box, and until that box is checked, you're not moving forward.
Ray, if you fix that bridge, Stuyvesant Bridge, for the traffic would just be like cars, pickups, nothing more than that? Or would they make you bring it so you can have truck traffic?
Well, it would be up to the county. So it would be up to the county. I would like to see what a cost would be to bring it up where I can have emergency services utilize it again at a minimum. Because again, if we're going to make an investment, okay,
Right,
you're going to mobilize. So I'm not going to make a repair for a car, right? I'm going to look at truck vehicles as far as that's concerned. Okay, that ideally would be the type of repair that I like to do.
Okay.
Dale Bridge Road, between the town of Germantown and town of Livingston, that received a red flag regarding condition of a pre-stressed box beam. Luckily, it's the outer unit, so we were able to go ahead, put Jersey barriers up and just reduce it down to a single lane bridge. That particular bridge superstructure is slated to be replaced within the next 5 years, pending New York State Bridge of New York funding. Unfortunately, I did see an announcement regarding the new funding coming from the state, and it used to be in 2025, it was funded at the level of 484 million statewide. The latest that I saw for 2026 that it's been reduced to 200 million. So, yeah,
Statewide.
that's statewide.
Yeah.
So,
Budget season hasn't happened though, so,
Agreed.
you know.
And I know that there are other
You'll have
programs,
legislators
right, there's
pitch for
other
it.
programs and so forth, but yeah, that potentially is a big hit. Specifically to us, because, you know, we really do depend on that
Right.
funding a little bit.
And
And
we've
we've
done
been
very
very
well with that,
successful,
yeah.
yeah, we've been very successful as far as obtaining funding. Mill Hill, Road Bridge, bridge remains single lane, as far as the main bridge, and contractor is in the process of removing the temporary bridge abutments, and then he'll work towards restoration, and then the final pavement will take place in April, and the bridge will be open to 2 lanes at that point. Rossman Road Bridge, due to the Empire Trail crossing the bridge, we are going to be required to go through a section 106 and 4F process. However, this particular process is an abbreviated process because it's more of a programmatic versus the structure itself. So therefore, they anticipate that it's only going to delay it by about 6 months. So again,
Yeah, right.
yeah. But we are trying to see if we can move that process forward and
We
get
could
it.
have built that bridge this summer without this, you know, so.
But it is part of the funding.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
These are the things that we have to do when we're dealing with the funding.
Go along.
One other quick item, County Route 21, which passes over the Kinderhook Creek in the village of Kinderhook. There is a bid going out for a truss repair. That'll be going out Friday. Bids will be coming back, and we'll be opening those on February 6th. So I hope to have a resolution for that repair next month. Okay.
So that truss wasn't part of the structure anymore, that it was just there as more decorative.
No, that is part of that. Yeah, it is structural. County Route 9, slope analysis. So soil laboratory results came back. There's about 6 to 10 feet of overburden of various fill materials, and then gets down to shale.
And where is that, Ray? What location is this? It's 9, but I.
So as you're heading off of County Route 9 off of by Slade Hill, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
That's the crossroad. I couldn't think of it.
Yeah, I just didn't know whereabouts.
There's a bit of a slope failure, and basically what's happening is slope failure has been caused because it's a very steep slope. Over the years, the vegetation as far as the tree have all died off in this one particular location, so there's no root mass keeping the entire slope together.
Okay.
So that's caused this isolated failure. So we're looking to utilize a methodology that's called soil nails that would then go down into the slope, and then there would be about a 10-foot high gunite wall that would be placed to stabilize the downhill slope. So we anticipate that the recommendations as well as the cost estimates will come in at the end of January. They are also going to be providing me a proposal for design services, so that way we can see if we can move forward with making a repair this summer. This particular project will be completely county funded, and we do not have any funding for this. County Route 27 and 9H. So this is information that was provided to me by a resident. So County Route 7 and County Route 23 is in the area of the Morningstar Farm. Kelly, can you bring that? There was a resident that had made a request to New York State Department of Transportation to look at creating that Y intersection into a T intersection. And New York State provided correspondence back, which was included in the information in everyone's packet, that they looked at accident history, they looked at speed, they looked at sight distance. None of them require, and according to New York State taking any action on this intersection. So according to DOT, they're not moving forward. They're not going to do anything with this intersection.
That's right, where that clock estate was built up on the hill.
Yes.
But can the county I've been questioning this already in my town, because it's in our town. Can the county say we want to put a T intersection here and the state can still say no?
Well, we can request it. And we would still have to go through, New York State DOT for an approval process. Honestly, my biggest issue is that there's no funding, okay?
Right.
Unless the town would like to fund the project,
Well,
we're okay with
Listen,
that.
I'm getting beat up, so I'm looking at all options.
Okay,
So
so
if there's ways to do something.
we could honor, as far as the county, since it is, with the state, as far as our intersection with the state, we can undertake the project, absolutely.
Right.
And we would then have to get their approval because they control the intersection within 200 feet.
Gotcha.
So we'd have to go through their design standards from a geometrical or geometry standpoint. And we probably have to move that intersection probably about 100 feet to the south at a
Yeah.
minimum in order
Yeah.
to get that
On
geometry.
that corner of that field.
Correct. So that would also require land acquisition and so forth. But again, I brought this to the committee because at this point, based on the various bridge issues that we're dealing that are true safety items, DOT has already indicated this is not a safety issue,
Right.
therefore they're not taking action. I wanted to gain the consensus of the committee that with the exception of funding, if someone's willing to fund it, then we would pursue it. But on our own, I don't think that we should be pursuing relocating the first.
We gotta fund these radiators that are climbing.
Right.
If you know, give me a ballpark figure, what it would take for the county to do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
People complain about that.
Right.
But if you're, I
mean, my other concern is where we would have to acquire land. I thought some of that had a conservation easement on that
Exactly.
farmland in that.
So I don't know any of that yet. We'll have to.
The only,
figure
the
that out.
entrance is conservation is across 23.
On this.
Okay,
on
this
the west
side.
side.
Yeah.
I thought I
People
heard
are
something
flying
when
out
they
of
were doing that whole
Hillsville, ready to
toxic
go.
thing about an easement in that area. I didn't know that.
There's easement on that grove of trees and the two fields just to the north of that and to the west.
But not where we would have to take it
Not
to
where
make
we would
it,
take it.
okay. all
Why
right.
can't you just go?
I wasn't sure. I just did general question.
Andrew, what's going on with 9H and 66? Are they doing anything with that?
I've heard nothing at this point. I'm gonna try to get in touch with Peter up there, stay, sit down with him, because they were supposed to come in at Clover too and talk to us about sidewalks and all that stuff. But again, it's like pulling teeth to get somebody to talk to you before you get going, but we're gonna bring it up. I've heard nothing more than what they said they were gonna do, but I think it's down the road.
They do have a
Jackie said, I
roundabout
think
plan for Bell's Pond, though, right?
would be
That's-
more than.
yeah.
26 and then-
That's kind of on their agenda, but roundabout there.
Didn't we hear in economic development in the last meeting that that is the, most used corridor in Columbia County is 9H and 66 in terms of vehicular traffic? There's a new study out that
I
says.
don't remember that one. Maybe we did.
It could very well be, but I do know from an accident standpoint that, area of, 82 and 23 and 9 and 9H right in that intersection, that was one of New York State's priorities as
Yeah.
potential for a
I know
roundabout.
that's, I know they prioritize that.
Yeah.
So when they're gonna do it, again, who knows?
But Kippy, I'm just thinking you should get you a copy of that packet.
Okay.
Here's a little number.
Yep.
So if I could get a consensus for the board not to pursue this, unless there's funding.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Thank you.
Kip, you want to abstain or?
No, I'll get back to him.
Okay.
You never know things.
And I'll get you
never
information.
know. I know.
No, we get that it's, your community.
I mean, if, you know, Culver guys support the county and we might be able to do
You
it.
might have to do it, you know?
We're not that well off.
Okay. I don't know what we're talking about in money either. I just can see it as.
Yeah, I will get that.
Yeah, it's
information.
just the
So that
ballpark.
way- What concerns me is, again, when we're dealing with the land acquisition.
Yeah.
Because it would have to be not just an easement, it would actually have to be
Ownership.
Ownership. Yeah.
And then you gotta deal with New York State regulations to
Oh, yeah.
use their road.
Yeah.
I'd rather they do it.
Other engineering activities, 11 Warren Street. So general contractors completed the partition gypsum board in the Board of Elections area. So that's moving along really well. Electricians completed their electrical work and inspection in that area as well. Contractor now is working on the probation department as far as rough framing and gyp board. Again, the contractors will then continue behind them. Right now, we are on schedule. Contractors anticipate end of March, beginning of April as far as their work. So pending any delays, but right now we don't see anything with that. We also met with facilities and MIS regarding the server rooms and data
poles for the data cables and so forth. And as a matter of fact, I had a meeting today with the furniture folks from ROI and just going along and having them take their final dimensions as well. So that way they can start fabrication. But they are on board with providing and installing those in the April timeframe as well, as far as the going. Airport. We've reviewed the 80% design plans for the terminal building. They're in the process of finalizing the construction documents and preparing bids for the project so we can move forward with construction. They've also provided design documents for 2 projects, one being the AWAS and the other one being the parking lot construction. Both of those projects are 95% FAA funded. The one hangup that we ran into is that New York State DEC has now required that the airport, for any projects in the foreseeable future, and again, this is based on our 5-year plan, which we currently have 7 projects, they want us to include 1 application for any potential wetland disturbances on all of those. So that way they can look at a potential cumulative impact. So that just means that for these projects that are slated to go out the door, which we're ready to go out, that may slow that process down. So just wanted to bring everybody up to speed and make sure everyone was aware of that. Water and sewer districts, excuse me, conducted a meeting with the FAA regarding the approval of utilizing the airport land for non-aeronautical purposes. So again, if you remember, I reported that the FAA was fine with the location of the tower as well as its height. We do not have any issues with that. But we do have to go through a process where, again, the airport was purchased and was funded by the FAA as far as the land purchase, utilizing federal money. And so we now want to use 1/4 of an acre of land for the purposes of a tower for other than aeronautical purposes. If the water tank only served the airport, we would not have to go through this process. But since it serves the airport as part of the water district and the water district as well, we need to go ahead and we need to enter into an agreement. Actually, the land use attorney from the FAA, because they're used to dealing with much larger airports with multiple entities like JFK, where you have ownership as far as the Port Authority, and then you have the city entities around it as far as utilities. The land use attorney is applying those criteria to us. So they want us, initially they wanted an easement, which I've never heard of an entity giving itself an easement over its own land for its own purpose. So we scratched that idea, but they do want a agreement. They do want an agreement between the county as owner of the airport and the county as owner of the water district, allowing the construction of that.
Signs on both lines and
We're gonna have the chairman sign both lines. Yeah, my apologies. It's, as I mentioned, checking the boxes.
They want the paperwork.
This is another entity wanting to check the box, because this is what they do. This is what they say that has to be done, and so this is what they need to have done. That's all.
So is the agreement for construction and operations?
Yeah, and that's for the purposes of both subsurface. So again, the water lines, electrical lines leading up to the facility, as well as the tank itself.
So is
I
this
also-
gonna stall this whole operation for a while, or?
I don't think so. No, I mean, we're continuing with the final.
Both parties are in agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Oh, we might.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know. I might go out of the room and come back.
Yeah, so we're moving forward with, finalizing the design documents and so forth, and we may just not be able to award the project until that's done.
Gotcha.
But I've already spoken to, Robert Simmons, the county attorney, given him information as far as the FAA attorney, so that way both of them can talk as far as making sure that the specifics are provided. The other item that they wanted us to provide was making sure that the county airport, since again, we're utilizing it for non-aeronautical, that it was getting fair market value for that 1/4 of an acre of land. So I'm working with Mark from Real Property now, determining the fact that we as a county, number one, what that fair market value is for the 1/4 acre, based on the assessed properties of vacant parcels in the area. But I'm going to use that information that I'm getting from Mark. And then they want to make sure that whatever that value is, that the county, based on its contributions towards these capital projects, are 5%. If we make investments on a yearly basis that is greater than that property value, then they're satisfied and we don't have to enter into any type of lease agreement.
They got too much time on it.
Nothing is
Overanalyzing.
Right.
nothing is,
Ray, one quick question.
Yeah.
Anything with the owner of the Metagreens, anything going on with him at all? It's been quiet.
it's been quiet. I have not heard.
Not heard of that. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't heard. Yeah, the last time I got correspondence from him was actually prior to us moving forward with the master plan. And we indicated that we wanted to gain feedback. So that was, I think, 3 years ago.
3 years.
And I have not heard anything from him since.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah. This year, the County Infrastructure Grant Program, New York State is funding that program again. So I would like consensus from the committee to allow me to submit an application for an additional $500,000 towards that particular project.
Second. Motion in a second, all in favor?
Great. Thank
Go
you.
apply for more money. They did say we could have the same.
Yeah, I did ask the question that since it was previously funded in 2025, and since we did not complete the project, and we're still working on it, whether we can apply for an additional $500,000, and they indicated that yes, we can.
PJ happy.
2 resolution requests. First resolution is for professional services with Labella in the amount of $177,400 for the program design, bidding, and construction admin associated with the building exterior at 11 Warren Street.
Second. Motion second, all in favor?
Yes, but that on this design, it's heavily front-loaded because we are requiring that the design, we requested getting feedback or input from the city, okay, over 18 months ago. We had not received any feedback. So what we are now doing is we're having the design consultant create initially sketches of 3 different types of designs. We're then going out to the public to try to get feedback on those so we can kind of hone in on a design so we can be able to move forward. So there's a lot of preliminary work that needs to be done, including multiple public meetings and so forth. So that's one of the reasons I would say it's expensive. Did we have a vote on it? Yep. Okay. Second is for the HVAC ductwork and fire alarm. So this is with FS&S, and this has to do with providing a smoke detector system as well as CO detectors in the HVAC system. The reason that this wasn't done initially with the other part of the project, when we had gotten funding from ILS to purchase materials, keep in mind that was in the late winter, that I had to have all of that material in and approved and purchase orders. The design of the duct system is not completed at that point. So that's why we're doing it now.
Move it. A motion in a second, all in favor?
Yeah. Anything else?
Questions for Ray?
We're good right now.
We do nothing else?
I have a bridge question. There's a bridge that, from what I could tell, is not on any road. I know that sounds crazy. It's at the intersection of Route 82, County Route 8, and County Route 3, but they never actually touch it. It's weird. And so occasionally it has issues, and I don't know who to contact for that. Like something, it might need a minor repair. It may need a major.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah, it's weird how because technically 82 turns and goes south. The bridge is there.
Oh, so actually, yeah, so that's actually not a bridge. My apologies. So this is down in Anchorman.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually it's not a bridge by definition.
Is it a culvert?
It's a culvert.
It's considered a culvert.
Correct. It is considered a culvert. And
Okay.
so I actually looked at that culvert, I think my first year, 2022, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, was right.
Well, yeah, and a repair had to be made, so it's on our radar. We're aware of it. For the longest period of time, there was a very large question of who owned it.
Yeah, that's my point. is
Because
it doesn't
originally
make
the county
sense.
thought that DOT owned it,
Yeah,
but DOT,
didn't want it. Right,
they didn't want it.
right, exactly.
Yeah, and that had to do with the way the routes were swapped as far as our county road versus the state road. And conveniently, as you point out, they immediately took that 90-degree turn
Yeah.
so that way they could avoid that additional structure. But that is a county-owned culvert and we are responsible for it. We are aware of it. We have made repairs. We do take a look at it.
At least now I know who to talk to.
Yeah.
Right,
There you go.
Yeah.
But I've got an
There you
issue.
go.
It's on the list, you know.
It's all good.
All right. We saved the best for last. We have Brian with facilities. He's got a whole stack of resolutions here too.
Waking up about the heat. He's waking up from his afternoon nap. That's
Right,
all.
yeah.
He angers him. So, that's all.
We were supposed to go home before now, right? You know,
I gotta
right.
get out of here so you can turn that thermostat down. I'll remember the next time. I'll just bump it down so it doesn't happen.
Right.
Uh,
Well, we might need heat before morning, so.
all the bang is usually done before anyone gets here.
Yeah.
So, routine checks, generator tests, like I said, we, at the new 911, we wanted to run the generator, verify that the UPS was working and it was, it's fine. Let's see here, 560, like we had an old UPS system there, so Wendy, you're gonna be getting a lot of stuff coming soon. So I took that apart. We created some storage for, our stuff finally. Courthouse, they wanted TVs hung on the walls. We had to, install some electric, run data cables, and camera wires for the first floor courtroom. Let's see here. Basically, we've been doing a lot out at 911, running wires, getting ready for the open house, putting in the key cords and everything. So that job's, pretty good. We're pretty well set there.
When are they moving in?
For elections?
No.
Oh,
911.
Oh, 911. They're,
Newest date that I heard is March.
yeah. Hold up seem to be with Motorola.
Yeah, we're,
Yeah, the county's completed its work, contractors are out and
Can't blame
really.
Bray or Ryan is what
Yeah.
we're saying,
That was the most important.
Yeah, no.
Or MIS. It's not
Right, yeah.
MIS, It seems to be Motorola.
And 911 would love to be there, but
We'll be opening 911 and 11 at the same
that's
time.
right, it could happen. Yeah.
Are you on the resolution part?
yeah, like basically it's just, all the winter stuff, snow and ice removal. So I got a couple, which one? All right, so this is
Move it.
she worked good for many years.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Yeah, we're looking at authorization to purchase a stand-on mower, with the snow attachments. We've been watching the city, they got one and that thing is nice. So, especially.
It's got a broom and a
Yeah.
blower and
Yep.
everything.
I've only seen them with the broom and, with smoke, like,
But these lately snows that we've.
oh yeah,
had,
that thing plowed and they're in and out and they move. So, we'll see. I haven't seen them do anything with large snow yet, with the blower, but that broom, that guy clears a lot of sidewalks, so it'll be helpful for us. And plus, it's gonna serve as a backup too.
Yeah.
For our mower, so we'll have an extra mower in
Yeah.
case one breaks down, so.
Tony had that problem last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
There's plenty of large S in that budget line for Chinese equipment.
Yes, yep.
I need a motion on that. Move it on the mowers.
I was gonna say, anybody?
Motion second, all in favor?
$27,000 snowblower. I took a minute to think about it.
Yeah.
It also mows.
That's kind of.
Keep it out of the salt, right?
What's that?
Keep it out of the salt.
Yeah.
How are we gonna do that? $5,000 pressure washer afterwards.
Yeah, that's the only.
I wanna see it go.
But yeah, no, well, hopefully it's gonna cut down on man hours. That's what we're hoping. That's the thing. 'Cause like I said, we get the regular blower, but they're constantly breaking.
That's always a liability issue.
Yeah. Next one is the,
All right,
Yeah.
part-time laborer I got.
yeah, to fill the part-time labor position.
I'll move it.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
And then authorization to fill one vacant full-time labor
Move it.
position.
I'll second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
That's it for mine.
That's it for Brian?
I got a question. Any, backups out there? Without the Brian, any backups out there?
No. It's been really good lately. Actually, we added, aerator and, degreaser out there and, the guys did, I forgot to say, they said he's doing well. Yeah.
So then.
Nothing major with the, like that, so things are going good.
You
Yeah,
know,
I know, I
I
know, I shouldn't
specify
say
for
that,
Colleen, because she doesn't know what she's
yeah.
talking about, Brian.
Oh, that's, out at our sewer collections point, was to give the nurse at home, we were getting a lot of rags and debris, you know, in there and,
Things you don't want to know about.
yeah, things we don't, stuff you don't want in there.
I'm good now.
So,
What Ryan just said, we don't
Yeah.
talk anymore.
so it's
Don't not put it-
been well.
They didn't do anything on their end.
They did, do anything.
No, they just keep
But they
putting
have,
the rag.
we don't have the type of, we have not seen the type of debris that they had previously.
Yeah.
We do get it pumped out too. So at that, you know, every 2 months, we have it done, that one, because that's the main collection point, so. But like the grease was the issue before, so.
And the last resolution I have to before the committee is authorization for the city of Hudson to use the 560 Warren Street parking lot for the farmer's market during the summer months of April 18th to November 21st.
I'll make that.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Thank you.
The winter one kind of fell down, it fell through, or?
Actually, she's may come in February. The Hudson Development Corporation is looking at they would like to apply for a grant to make some improvements to that parking lot for the farmer's market area. I did tell her she could come and present it. I told her I wasn't happy with the idea of giving up any parking spaces for what they want to do, but I said you could come and present, let's talk to them and see what they say. So I think in the February Public Works, they would come and make a quick presentation. For
Who's
us.
doing that?
Hudson Development Corporation.
It's out of one of the signs out there, just in case they were gonna do it, just the one flag at the lot, they want to take it down. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna just leave it now, we're getting.
We'll listen to what they got to say. I mean, they seem to have some money or there's availability of the money to make improvements there. So, we'll listen.
We got a motion to adjourn.
We got a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Got it.
All right, all in favor?